their sustainability, their process, so that the cement manufacturing becomes green. And of course, from the building side, on how the construction processes, methodologies, and the buildings are being so designed so that the overall carbon dioxide impact is lower. We are trying to address the entire supply chain. Before I request Mr. Ajay Kapoor, just a quick introduction about GBC to give you a brief of all the activities. Many of you are aware. As you see, this is the building which we are all here. This is one of the greenest buildings in the country and the world. First net zero energy building, the first platinum rated green building when it came up in the year 2004. It has many first to its credit over a period of time. And the building, as you all know, was inaugurated by President Kalam in the year 2004. Many green features. For example, the solar which you see is the first bifacial solar. The solar panel generate power on both sides of the panel. The building is a net zero energy building, which means we give about 15 to 20% energy which we generate to the grid. So this was announced by President Clinton when he visited in 2000, inaugurated by President Kalam in 2004. In 2023, IGBC, the Indian Green Building Council, completed about 10 billion square feet of green buildings in the entire country. The Madam President, Honorable President, launched a booklet on the achievement of the entire country. The building became a net zero energy building in 2019, and then last year we had this year we had the privilege of celebrating 20 years of GBC with the Honorable Chief Minister of Telangana, Shri Revanth Reddy, and also the launch of the foundation stone for the next building. These are the 5 major activities of the Green Business Center in terms of green buildings, green company, facilitating manufacturing companies to become green, facilitating products to become green, to make products green, and also create a market for Indian products nationally and internationally, working in terms of improving energy efficiency. All these things create a demand for green products, technology, and services. We have a program to help green entrepreneurs to scale up their activities. So we are taking care of the supply as well as the demand and the overall green arena. One important thing which we would like to share with you, we not only have activities, but also we are clearly track the achievements. The activities of the CII Green Business Center in the last 20 years has resulted in an annual reduction of 55 million tons of CO2 per year. So India overall is somewhere around 2,500. So 55 million tons is the overall reduction in terms of CO2, which is a significant percentage of the overall number of the entire country. So these are some of the activities. I will not spend time on it. The cement sector is one which is, as many of you know, India is the second largest manufacturer of cement in the world, but the most efficient cement companies of the world are in India, thanks to all the efforts of Indian cement sector, the support of the government and the technology providers. We have the leader, 2 leaders from cement sector, Mr. Ajay Kapoor, who leads the Cementech activities of CII. My request to all of you, we are here to talk about the sustainability initiatives of CII and the CII Green Business Center. So whatever questions you have got related to green, related to sustainability, the leaders here would be very glad to answer. Anything related to the business, I would request you to kindly avoid. May I now request Mr. Ajay Kapoor, Chairman of Green Cementech 2025 and the Managing Director of Ambuja Cements, to share his views on what the industry has been doing on the sustainability front and what the CII under his leadership has initiated. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon to all of you. Today we have actually gathered here for our Cementech 2025 2-day conference. The main objective is, as the nation grows, as the country grows, we cannot grow without cement, steel infrastructure. So on one hand, we are very proud of our India's cement industry. We have today close to last year 450 million tons of cement demand with a per capita consumption closer to 250 kgs per person. And at that, we are number 2 player in the world. But we are not just number 2 player in the world. we are also, I would say, number one in sustainability globally. So Indian cement industry, which is largely built by private capital, and typically to make one cement plant, you need about 2,000 crores today. Standard cement plant is about 3 million tons, which is substantial money, and yet 100% money is privately reinvested. And most of the cement companies that I've seen have been reinvesting their proceeds. So it's a very positive. Cement is in the process of manufacturing cement, you need energy, and in the process of using energy, there is a CO2 emission. Therefore, we are very cognizant that as an industry, as a responsible industry, our attempt is to be net carbon zero. We have decided that by 2070 as an industry we will be net carbon zero, but many companies individually have their own plan. Some companies have, for example, the company I represent has 2030 plan, 2050 plan. We are signatories to all global, ESG criteria, SBTI, which are many of them are voluntary, many of them are also part of the statutory reporting. Indian cement industry today has one of the highest usage of waste, which is fly ash, slag, in the manufacture, and I believe at 75% blended cements, this is one of the lowest CO2 emitting countries in the world on a per ton basis. Also, we are looking at moving towards RE energy as a source of our power, electricity. Typically, we need 100 units of power per ton of cement. Efficient plants can do it at about 65 to 75 tons. Of that, today, a lot of companies have given commitments that they will reach up to 60 to 70% this power coming from either waste heat recovery systems, which is nothing but using the hot gases in the process to capture back and produce power, which otherwise would have been wasted. And secondly, investing in RE sources like solar and waste heat. So again, there is a roadmap every company has tied up. We are looking at the data at a national level. We are already about 1800 megawatts installed capacity of waste heat. And target is that by 2030, almost 4000 megawatt of power, which will be comprising of waste heat as well as RE, solar and wind, is a commitment already announced by some of the industry leaders. There are a lot of things to be done going forward. One is to ensure we also help society clean its waste. Cement manufacturing needs solid fuels like coal, petcoke. A lot of industries have started using the municipal solid wastes, the sludges which are coming in, the plastics. They are recycled and brought back to a cement plant, and instead of coal, we replace it by society's waste. We call it alternate fuels, AFR. As a nation today, we are at about 6 to 7%. But there are plants in Europe which are at 100%, which means negative of any source of natural source of energy. Industry is committed to move towards 20-25%. Imagine on one hand we are moving towards 60% to 50% RE sources, which is solar, waste heat, wind. On the other hand, for our power and fuel requirements, we are moving towards replacing through using alternate fuels, which is municipal solid waste. So I think it's a win-win. As we grow, we reduce and eventually eliminate the CO2 emissions is the core objective. And the lastly, which I'll speak, is the usage of cement. Cement basically is used to make houses and to make buildings. This building is a classic case built 25 years back with a very, very green and eco objective, and you can walk around the building. That's why when they asked me to meet all of you, I said, please call them here and see what can be done if the right mindset is there. We have saved money, we have saved electricity, and yet in the heart of Hyderabad, this structure sits as a testimony of modern thinking and at the same time medieval way of cleaning waste. I was just shown, and I would request the team to take all of you just at the backyard here. There are plants which are naturally using the wastewater and the fresh water which is collected at this site. And rather than putting a treatment plant, we have put natural plants, greenery, which is absorbing the waste and converting it into fresh air and recycling. So I think This is what we as an industry should champion more and more. The products that are used for making cement, for example, fly ash-based PPC cements, consume 35% less traditional cement clinker, thereby reducing the CO2. Slag, which is a waste of cement industry, can be produced by only 40% traditional clinker, which means 60% can be reduced. And we also worked with the government many years back and we produced a new kind of cement which is known as composite cement, which can mix slag and fly ash both. So all these products are also there, which are, number one, very good in quality. They can build very stronger. The biggest dams like Bhakra Nangal Dam was built with PPC cement because the heat of hydration, I've got a builder here who knows the heat of hydration for large structures is so high that you cannot even build it with the traditional way of building. You have to add fly ash, you have to add slag. It brings longevity. So I think we are also working over there. There are concretes which can be made with polymers inside it, and time to come, that technology will come in. There are things in the society which if we add in the concrete, it will naturally absorb CO2 in it. So I think a lot of technology, and finally last is digitization. The more technology is used, the less waste is done, and I think that is what this center aims to. I am very happy and very proud to work alongside CII and the industry leaders to see that as our nation becomes from 4 trillion to 10 trillion, we also demonstrate to the world what we demonstrated to our enemy few days back, what we can do with technology. The right technology can build smart, can build at a low cost, and can build for the next generation to come without the problems of pollution, without the problems of CO2. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. Srikanth Reddy to share some of his views on what has been the activities and achievements of cement plants of this region in Telangana.
Yeah, good afternoon. Would like to welcome all of you to the green building, the CII green building, and they have been very instrumental in trying to get the industry upgrade itself from time to time. It has been more than 2 decades since the CII started the green Cementech. Each year there has been a significant contribution from the CII helping the industry to learn from collective kind of a thing, because each industry probably would progress a bit. But I think the role that CII played, especially the green Cementech played collectively for small players, medium players and the large players, is to have a collective kind of a learning. Their experiences and everything was shared. With that, we are very happy that the footprint, as Mr. Ajay Kapoor has mentioned, the Indian cement industry footprint, carbon footprint, that is tons of CO2 for each ton of CO2, for each ton of cement that we produce, probably would be the lowest in the world. The quality of the cement that is produced in India, probably most of the people, for some perception reasons, think that we are the lowest. In fact, the quality of cement that we produce would be the highest. You need less ton of cement for each cubic meter of concrete that is poured. That's the testimony. As you are seeing the building heights, the infrastructure speed, and the building, in fact, the bridges sizes are coming down by the year. All that is possible with the adoption of the new technologies that are coming in. At the same time, industry has been extremely conscious on the environment side. So as the industry is progressing, it has been absolutely responsible in its behavior. It's not only looking for the profits, but also looking at how do we have as little impact as possible for the growth to happen. And we would be more than happy to share any of the questions or queries that you would have. Thank you again for taking interest to come and listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shekhar Reddy Garu, for your views on the buildings.
Yeah. Good morning to all of you. And it's a great collaboration with the cement industry. And over a period of time, I was just now in the inaugural session of the Cementech, I was hearing the Kiran Anand. So if you benchmark, our energy savings are the best globally. And we are saving a lot of energy, and also pollution level has to come down. And also we are using alternate fuel also, whether RE or waste heat both we are using. The municipal waste also we are using extensively. And tremendous, I think, efforts have been put by the technology developers, machinery manufacturers, and cement manufacturers together. And they are also struggling very much to how to cut down the energy, the pollutions also. They are struggling very hard. And at IGBC also, we are happy when we started this building outside the US, first platinum rated building with 20,000 square foot. I am proud to announce today we have more than 15,000 projects have registered with us, comprising about 13.56 billion square foot green footprint is registered with IGBC, which is second largest globally. Maybe very shortly we will be the global leaders, and all the stakeholders are involved in this. All the manufacturers are involved, and with almost zero green products manufactured in India 20 years back, now IGBC team could be able to certify as a green pro, as a green material, building material, about 10,000 products, about 10,700 plus products we have certified. And any off the shelf these products are available. If you go to any shop, these green pro certified products are available. They are definitely working in a big way. Not only that, to make more and more awareness, we have started also green property show wherein pre-certified and certified green projects are displayed. We have started first and second edition in Hyderabad, which has received a great appreciation. That project actually, why we have started is we want to showcase the promoters who are the green crusaders. They are implementing green rating in their projects. Second thing is we want to make it the sustainability green building concept. What exactly is green building? Everybody should know. Life, in our childhood times we should know. You used to know Lifebuoy soap or a surf. These are the products we used to know. Similarly, what is a green building? What are the ingredients? How much energy it is saving by adopting a green building rating? How much of water we are saving? What are the fixtures we are supposed to use? What type of electrical fixtures we are supposed to use? What is the importance of the rainwater harvesting, sewage treatment plant? Many things we discuss, and the heat island effect. What is the importance of the many of the reflective coatings, and again going back to the courtyard concept, what the importance of the natural daylight in every room, and the free air circulation into every room, how much it will reduce the AC involvement, energy will be reduced. So these are the things we want to take it to every citizen. In the process, we also have more than 400 colleges, engineering and arts colleges, our student chapters. Day in and day out, we conduct a lot of programs. We have Indian Green League also. The working people, we involve them as a competition. We have a yearly competition for them. We do the competition among the architects. We do a lot of conferences. We have 30 chapters across the country. We are actively involved in every city, and we are reaching out to all the departments, the developers, and all the type of industries. We have 13 state governments are extending incentives for adopting the green rating. And we have many MOUs with the state governments and CPWD, PWD, R&D departments for making the procurement also, green procurement process in the tender document. Many aspects we are doing a lot of awareness programs through you. You also have been helping for the last 2 decades in a big way. And we are also very much there in the social media regularly, and various promotion of the various activities. Definitely. Last year I have seen, today also I have seen this 21st Cementech, this year also, these proceedings of today's and tomorrow, proceedings also definitely will bring more and more innovative technologies and products into the market. Definitely we are all selling, all the manufacturers, not only cement, steel and other products. Many products manufactured, they are coming into our fold. They are all working toward the Government of India agenda of carbon neutral by 2070. We are working in the direction, and we are all putting efforts, lot of efforts in helping to take it forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? If would like to have some Telugu bites, I would request Shrikant Reddy Garu and Shekhar Reddy Garu to share. Feel free.
Even though you said that the industry is adopting zero carbon footprint by 2050, yet it is one of the most polluting industries. And the example is environmentalist protests in Gujarat, in Andhra, in Telangana, Ramnapet industry. So why do you think the industry is yet facing these kind of challenges? And also, decarbonization has not been adopted by many players in the segment. So what steps are being taken to ensure that the industry adopts these kind of issues?
Yeah. Good afternoon, madam. I think from a pollution standpoint, I think some of these instances that you have mentioned is more to do with the public hearing much before the industry is set up. When I started my career close to 30 years back, it was very difficult for us to go and see during the daytime the cement plant. It was dusty. Now if you have to go, I think it is no different from, it's kind of a walk in the park. So from that perspective, the environment, see, the CO2 pollution obviously is not visible. So the question of people trying to tell that it is making their life difficult is something which we have to take it slightly differently. But the instances that you have mentioned where there has been a resistance from the people is more for putting up a plant rather than trying to contest on where the plant is there and it is making their life difficult. I think it is something which we need to separate these two aspects. From a perspective of what industry is doing, I think the CO2, as sir has mentioned, it is actually 0.8 tons of CO2 gets generated for each ton of CO2. It's a process itself. It is very similar to even for people to grow rice or wheat, especially in the flood farming. Yeah, matching kind of slightly higher CO2 also gets generated. But the benefits that the products offer exceeds the emissions that it does. Having said that, still the industry has taken a lot of responsibility to make sure that the CO2 would come down, the intensity would come down, which is in the interest of everybody. But from a dust or from various other, I don't think except for CO2, any cement industry today has any effluents coming out of the plant. In fact, most of the plants are zero discharge. None of the plants would have issues other than the CO2 as we speak. In the past, of course, the perception was that it was very, very dusty. I think those days are behind. So given this scenario, as you would have seen, for each decade, cement industry is actually doubling. It was not a possibility if there was no support or it was very damaging to the environment. Yeah, we have been extremely conscious and careful about the industry's growth. People consume staples, which is almost 1/3 of the cement that they consume unknowingly. As sir has mentioned, probably people eat anywhere between 75 to 80 kgs of either rice or wheat, but unknowingly each one of us consume close to 250 kg. So given the intensity of the cement, it is important that industry has to grow, but definitely it is not happening at the expense of environment or any of those issues. That much I think as a industry we can assure you. Things are improving. When things are improving, obviously it's not that it will happen overnight. There is a roadmap where the government of India did give 2070 as the commitment for becoming net zero. But the average cement industry, almost 70% of the Indian cement industry probably is trying to achieve that goal more than a decade ahead. That's what I would like to highlight. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was, the second part of your question of what industry, I just repeat what I said in the beginning. Cement basically needs energy to convert limestone into clinker, and from clinker into cement, again you need energy because you have to grind. This is essentially where the CO2 comes. The same way a car or a motorcycle on which you would have come here needs energy. Now, not 100% cars are electric, and it's a normer because finally, where does the electricity come from? If the electricity is coming again from coal, you're still not having zero, unless that comes from RE. And today, globally, RE is being set up. So there's nothing, as rightly mentioned, I'm not even saying the ones who eat non-vegetarian, even far more generation happens because, if you go there, then the whole cycle is different. Now, what are we doing to reduce? As I said, number one, for reducing the energy, we are replacing coal with alternate fuels. What is alternate fuel? It's municipal solid waste. It is our waste that we create We are bringing it to the plants and replacing it with coal. Number two, the plastic, which is used. We are using plastic to put in the kiln instead of coal and produce energy. So I think this is what our contribution is. We are not only reducing and using less coal, we are actually cleaning the waste of the society. And cement plant has a 1200 to 1400 degrees in its main plant, which is called cement kiln. We are actually giving service to the nation by cleaning the waste of the nation and replacing coal. So I think that's one thing the industry is doing. And we are not the only ones who are doing, we are learning from the West. As I mentioned, in West, there are some plants which are 100% working on this. So which means we can theoretically go to 100% also, provided we have the ecosystem. Second is the power. As I mentioned, 60% of the power, all the leading companies have committed that over the next 5 years, we will replace it with natural power, which is RE, wind or waste heat, which means we'll only have 40% power coming from the traditional sources. Now that 40, can it go to 20? Answer is still to be found, and I think that's where the technology will come and help us. So this is just to give you some elements. And finally, the end product, cement, as I mentioned, we mix it with fly ash, which is waste of power plant. So we can reduce the intensity by almost 40%. Then if we mix it with slag on top of it, we can reduce the intensity by 60%. And cement industry is the largest users of these two wastes in the world today, because India produces a lot of coal-based power and also steel. So I think this is some of the things we are doing. Globally, India is ranking amongst the top green cement industries in the world, ahead of US and ahead of many other Western countries.
But what would be the emphasis of this Cementech, and when is it being held? I think you didn't mention the dates.
So Cementech is just started, ma'am, today and tomorrow at HICCP. As you visit in the afternoon, we will take you around. There are about 70
stalls there, so do go visit it.
Yeah,
You'll
there are
find
about 70 stalls.
all that I am saying, you'll actually see it in practice over there in the sessions. At a national level, it is about 6 to 7%, or maybe slightly lower. But some companies are even gone up to 20-25%. And within a company, some plants can be higher, where you are easily getting it, and some plants are in the, because you have to also make investments in technology. So on an average, 6 to 7% at a country level.
Yeah, Kiran can share with you the details across the country.
But the high energy cost is still creating hurdles for a lot of them. I understand you're switching from energy to natural sources, yet many are dependent on the...
Everybody is making some of the... See, waste heat recovery has become a norm now. So when you put up a cement plant, as I mentioned, you need 1200 degrees of temperature to make cement clinker. Now today, de facto, all plants which are being put up, they also put up a waste heat recovery plant alongside. So that extra gases which are earlier wasted are captured to bring power, and at least the power of making clinker is produced free, in a way, from the same source. So you're not, now, so that's the technology change already happened.
What is the capacity that is to be added for 25, 26? Is there some...
Very difficult, but I would say from the publicly available data sources, about 30 to 40. India is about 450 million ton demand market. It has a capacity of closer to 670, 680 million tons. We are on an average growing at about 7 to 8%. So if you add that, you need about 30, 35 million tons of additional demand. More or less, cement industry is adding similar amount of capacity over the next couple of years, every year.
How much as industry are you spending on these initiatives, sir? The ones that you mentioned, replacing with alternate fuel, all these aspects.
So I can speak more, for my own company and for my own philosophy, which is sustainability and competitiveness are two sides of the same coin. We are not doing this, and we don't want to just say this because it is good to have. It is your license to lead. And I'll now leave that to my other colleague, because you should hear two viewpoints also. Why don't you also?
No, I don't think it is very different from Mr. Ajay Kapoor's reply. Again, each company has its own philosophy for making an investment. But typically what happens is 50% of the depreciation. I mean, the thumb rule, what historically industry has followed is, whatever is the 50% of the depreciated value that comes, actually go back for an investment to replenish the newer technologies which are as efficient, and at the same time additional investment that is required to handle alternate fuel or getting the renewable power.
In terms of capacity utilization of the industry, where is it now? Because you
No, I think
to add capacity,
no.
then you operate it.
Sir, I think that's a business question, but I would not hesitate to address that. Yeah, it's a question of are we addressing it ahead of requirement? Yes, to a certain extent. Demand doubles every 10 years, sir. But there are regional imbalances because of availability of limestone is not uniform across the country. So there are pockets. We are limited to South. I can address that slightly better. If you look at South India, bulk of the limestone resources are in AP and Telangana. There are very limited resources in Tamil Nadu, and to a certain extent, resources again are concentrated in Karnataka, only north of Karnataka. So given that situation, there is always that imbalance. There are some regions where industry goes ahead and prepares the capacity slightly ahead of time. As we speak, I think South, in general, when we put the number, I think supply is almost double the demand. But that was not the case few years back. But probably a few years later, we believe that it might narrow down. But if you look at all India, I think there is a very limited gap between demand and supply. So it's more a regional imbalance that is there in demand and supply.
What does this mean in terms of the investment that is required to be made as opposed to, say, 10 years back to now, given the fact that so many other aspects you are including in your project?
No, I think the capex is very inflationary in nature. I remember putting up a plant at $70 15 years back, where dollar was 60, but dollar now is 85. That has actually scaled up to almost $95 to $100 for each installed ton that we have to put up. $100. Because that's the thumb rule I'm using that's the typical industry thumb rule which people use. 15 years back, it was around $75 to $80. Today, it is almost $95 to $100 with all the technology adaptations that have to be done.
And how far have you progressed in terms of replacing conventional trucks with electric trucks? That was one aspect that you were looking at.
Sir, I think it's early start. It just started, sir, because the large format trucks only started getting ARI certifications only a few months back. So most of the large format trucks were imported, and there were only few numbers that were in the market, sir. But I think over next 6 months to 1 year, the number should start looking up. But again, the challenge is that nothing is stabilized on the green trucks. I'm not talking of electric trucks alone. The hydrogen trucks or the bio-CNG trucks, all these things should significantly contribute because the infrastructure that is required, the charging infrastructure, the servicing infrastructure, and the capex requirements are also fairly large. So we strongly believe that over next few years, it should start aggressively replacing. It's a good start because as these trucks started coming into the market, in fact, we are very proud that cement industry is the first industry which started, I would not say experimenting, but adopting most of these things which as they are coming in. Sir. But we are in the early start. We are still in the early start, but it has been a good start. That's what I would like to highlight. In fact, Sir's company is one of the first to start. Actually, last week itself, they have launched a hydrogen truck in one of the coal mines that they are operating.
In Chhattisgarh.
In Chhattisgarh.
If you Google, you'll see it's a press release from the Adani Group. But he's right because see, EV truck has to travel long distance. And today the charging stations and all those things are still being sorted. It's an evolving technology. But the good news is for every 1 ton of cement we produce, we move 3 tons of raw material or finished goods. So we are basically a very strong logistics business. So we'll be very fast to lap up as soon as we find us technology which is viable. And also we have suppliers who can give us that kind of need. But needless to mention, we also use rail as a big transportation. All cement companies have railway sidings. All our coal is brought through rail. Our raw material inter-units is transported by rail, and rail, as you know, is electrified. To that extent, we are very, very eco-friendly. Some of our companies, like the ones which I represent, also have sea transportation. So we move a lot of our cement through coastal transportation, through sea. So typically one clinker vessel of 50,000 tons moving from Gujarat into down south has a far lower CO2 emission than if the same was moving. So all those things are also there, which are multiple things which we are doing. Every company has a plan depending on their own vision. But believe me, if you talk of top 8-10 companies nationally and also regionally, all of them have these because as I said, very important thing, sustainability and competitiveness, they're going together. So if you don't do all this, you will be left behind also with a higher cost. So that's also a driver.
This is one industry which doesn't see any imports, I suppose.
Any?
Imports.
Largely self-dependent. Largely self-dependent.
Sir, India is the second.
Scenario, how do you see this?
Hanji?
Changing tariff scenario, will this be
No.
reflected in some?
Nothing, no way.
I think we are an island, sir. I think from the size perspective, we are second in the world, sir. From a cost perspective, I think we would be one of the lowest in the world.
Yeah.
So given that scenario, we don't see imports coming into the market. It's primarily a domestic kind of product, sir. So we are more or less insulated from the geopolitical kind of a scenario, except for
freight
few
and logistics
inputs.
is a large part of our cost. That's a business question, so at least I would have no comment on that.
Yeah, we would not like to comment. I think forum is not the right.
Since you are not introduced from the Cement Manufacturers Association perspective, may I ask you what are you doing?
Sir, CII Green Cementech, we have a advisory committee, sir. So I am part of the advisory committee. Sir is
the
the
part of the CII
Green Cementech chairman.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Ajay Kapoor happens to be the chairman of all the cement sustainability activities of the Green Business Center. He is also the managing director of Ambuja Cements. So as you know, in CII, we have leaders from cement sector who give us direction in terms of the activity to do. And Mr. Shrikant Reddy is part of that advisory group, which gives us direction and what we should do, how we should work on. We have a committee. And unfortunately, Cement Manufacturers Association, the president could not be present here today. Otherwise, he would have been definitely there. And of course, you know, Mr. Shekhar Reddy is the National Vice Chair of Indian Green Building Council.
One last question, sir. So much consolidation happened last year in the cement industry. And if analysts are to be believed, still more is on the cards in the coming year.
Sir, sustainability again, sir.
Yeah, from a sustainability perspective only, is sustainability a factor when you kind of look at cement?
This is like, holding a can as in you're trying to hold it from here from a business question. Simple 2 words, no comment, sir. Yeah. I represent right now a different, topic, and therefore this, I would say, is not part of that topic.
Any other question? Anybody, sir?
Absolutely. I'll give you a number, and this is a good number all of you can note down, because this is business as well as green. So I'll make you a little happier than I couldn't in your previous question. When you produce 1 unit of power, typically to produce 1 ton of cement, you need about 85 to, let's say 80 units of energy. Now, typically, any state grid cost is about 7 to 8 rupees. If you did nothing and you bought power from the state, it varies from 8 to 9 rupees. So 8 into 80, that's a cost per ton of producing the electrical part of the cost. The moment I put a waste heat recovery system, of course there's a capex, but payback is less than 4 years. So without getting there, the cost of that is about 1 rupee. So 1 rupee versus 7 rupee. So if I replace 40% of my plant with waste heat, I reduce the cost drastically. Now on top, if I make investment in solar, because solar has now become very viable. You can buy it at about 2 rupees 50 paisa variable to total 3 rupees 50 paisa. Now an average of solar and waste heat together can bring down your cost from 7 to 8 rupees to maybe 3.5 to 4 rupees. So that's the natural payback over there. So that's why I said sustainability and competitiveness. Just I gave you one example. Same for alternate fuels. Typically, coal cost is about 1 rupee 80 paisa to 2 rupees per 1000 kcal as we measure. If you use a alternate municipal solid waste, depending on where you are, it might be 80 paisa to 1 rupee. So almost 80% reduction. But you need to absorb the technology, you need to make some investments. Sometimes you have to put bypass, that also needs investment, but then it is a highly, but you have to also learn how to use it. Then you need more knowledge. Again, here I won't comment.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you all at Green Cementech, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think आपका phone